as you're all well aware, you've probably been glued to your phones and to your televisions as we have. The situation continues to escalate in Israel. Even as we're sitting here, the alerts of rocket attacks continue to light up my phone. We are so fortunate to have with us right now Lieutenant Colonel Peter Larner, a reservist in the IDF Spokesperson Unit, to talk to us. It is only because of the crucial relationship and trust that the IDF places uniquely in us that we have the privilege of having him with us when the demands of the IDF are so great. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to meet with us today. I know you only have a few minutes for us today, so I just want to give you the floor. If you can give us the latest operational updates, what's happening in the north from Syria, what is unfolding, we will be so appreciative for your insights.
Thank you, and good morning to you all. It's day 6 and there are 5 p.m. here in Israel. Indeed, I was recruited to reserve duty 3 days ago, a job I never thought I would actually have to be doing again, to speak on behalf of the military in uniform. Once they called me in, I obviously dropped everything, gave my wife a kiss, and came to be at the service of the country once more. Day 6, from our perspective, as we look at it, and if we look at our achievements over the last 24 hours, there are three core components of our activities. First of all, securing the southern communities of the south. Most importantly, seeking out terrorists that still potentially could be in the south of Israel, hiding out in bushes or among outbuildings or as such on the kibbutzim or beyond. Yesterday we still had engagements with terrorists, and including 5 terrorists that we killed in exchanges on the ground. So there is still a real threat in the surrounding areas of the Gaza Strip. The second component obviously would be to seal the breaches of the fence of the barrier around the Gaza Strip, that barrier that they penetrated with tens of different locations simultaneously throughout the borderline area with the Gaza Strip. We are fulfilling that, filling it up, rebuilding the capabilities in order to prevent infiltration or further infiltration or escape route. We're doing it with a lot of force on the ground, but also with the capabilities with physical barriers. So it's on an ongoing operation, and most of the breaches have been closed. And the third component of our activities now would be the offensive activities against Hamas. I don't know if you followed Prime Minister Netanyahu's press briefing together with Secretary of State Blinken. The messages coming out there are very clear, and that is actually what we've been doing. We are striking Hamas in the Gaza Strip from in all of its positions, across all of its components. So it would be the organization of Hamas as a terrorist organization, its special units. The Nukhba is a special focus of ours. This is the unit that the special forces commando unit, as to say, of the Hamas that actually did the penetration. They have special forces training and all different types of things like that. They have been a focal point of ours, and many of their members were actually very much involved in the butchering of our people, and that is what we've been focusing on. We've conducted strikes, and we've conducted precision strikes against individuals that have been involved, also against their special forces, naval forces, intelligence capabilities. So the strikes are ongoing, and we are determined to take out everybody who was involved in the breaching and the horrific outcome of the butchering of our people in southern Israel. We're collecting all of the videos that they proudly posted, and that is a good basis for the intelligence in order to seek them out and then take them out as we see fit. The strikes are very extensive throughout and widespread throughout the Gaza Strip, and it it's taking Hamas actually time to understand what is the extent of the damage to them and the amount of their terrorists that have been taken. They are actually in a state of chaos as we speak, and that's a good thing. And they are going to be on the receiving end of the IDF for the foreseeable future. So when we're looking forward, the IDF is in full readiness state of alert. We have accumulated some 300,000 reservists, many of them on the border with Gaza, but not only, because obviously the Northern Command is also of concern, and we've had some yesterday an anti-tank guided missile fired at forces on the border from Lebanon. We responded to Hezbollah, and there's a potential there also for escalation. So obviously we've brought up the forces to be prepared for that. We continue to make sure that the forces are strong and prepared. And probably the most pressing question that you have is there going to be a ground offensive? I would say that the IDF is preparing for that if the government gives us the instruction to do it. And we're taking into consideration all of the needs and the threats and challenges that we have in ground operations, of course, in a densely populated area of Gaza. And the second pressing question is probably around what is the status of the abductees, how many. So we've reported earlier today that we've notified over 90 families that their family members have been abducted by Hamas into Gaza. This is an ongoing concern. Obviously, we expect Hamas to take care of them. They are responsible for their well-being. We don't expect them to do much, and we will do all as we can in order to bring them home. I think that is a very brief overview I wanted to give you. I would say that we are very grateful for the support of FIDF. I've known FIDF for many, many years. I guess there's probably some people here that I've met on the speaking route or in your visits to Israel. Your support at this time is invaluable. I just want to clarify one thing. We are receiving military aid from the US, not out of a lack of our ammunitions or weapons or anything. There's a situation on the ground where we've recruited 300,000 people at one time. It's the largest recruiting of reservists in the history of the IDF. And the mechanism of getting the weapons, the kits down to the soldiers is taking time. But you should be certain and understand that the men and women of the IDF have everything that they need in order to fulfill their missions. There's no lack in any weapons or arms for the soldiers to do their operations. And I know that that's a sticking point, and perhaps you've heard some of the reports. Because the soldiers have been dispersed and recruited so quickly, the logistical chain is taking its time to pick it up. But they will have all of their kit to begin with. I can tell you, I've received phone calls from friends that have been recruited and saying, we still don't have a bulletproof vest. And I've told him, by the time you get tasked with a mission, it will come. And he called me up yesterday and said, just to let you know, we got it. And I asked him, where did you get it from? He said, well, the army. I said, nobody bought it for you privately? He said, no, the army supplied it. So we have to have confidence. And you know the IDF. We're a serious shop. We know what we're doing. We have everything we need. We need friends, and we are very grateful for the friendship of the FIDF and everything that you are doing for us.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. I know that you're being called away. We can hear you literally being called away for other media appearances, but we are so grateful that you squeezed us in today. For those of you on the call, we're going to continue. Major General Nadav Padan, FIDF's National Director, is going to pick up and answer a few more questions from the ground. But I want to thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel Peter. We are so grateful that you were with us today. Stay safe, and we'll see you again as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Hi, Nadav. I just wanted to ask a question. We didn't have a chance to engage Peter in a back and forth because his time is just so limited right now. But I think one of the reports I'd like to ask you about that's been sort of at the forefront of feeds in America is this call, apparently, from Fatah to attack Israelis within Israel, sort of calling on neighbors to attack neighbors. And, it's a frightening prospect, understanding that reservists are with the army. It seems as though it's looking to target the vulnerable. I mean, how is the IDF handling from within and without?
So we're saying from the very beginning of this war that it's a multi-arena kind of challenge. So while Israel focused and all the world focused on what's happening in the south, in Gaza Strip, Hamas doing as far as it can to increase the inside Judea and Samaria and East Jerusalem, and try to motivate the Palestinian that lives in Jordan and in Lebanon to take part in this war effort of him. So yes, we can see that a lot of mosques and clubs of Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood in Judea and Samaria area and other places are dealing with pushing to push the young generation out of the street and get friction with the IDF or launch a suicide and other terror attack. Tomorrow, Friday, which is the holiday of the Yom Tov of the Muslim, when every Muslim go to the mosque, gonna be a huge challenge, because probably during the praise, during the time that everybody gathers in the mosques, the Hamas will try to take advantage of it, and the IDF and the police are getting ready to deal with those kind of challenges, especially tomorrow after the praise at the mosques. So yes, it's a great challenge. It's always been a challenge. The Hamas works on it and works on inside the population for from the very beginning of its existence.
Wow, it's amazing what our young men and women who are 20, 21, 22 are facing. It's just this genocidal nightmare. From the ground, what are the IDF's greatest needs? You know, everyone here is looking to see what they can do. How can we help? You know, how is FIDF already on the ground? If you can tell us how that is all, shaping up in real time, that would be awesome.
First of all, before I'm getting deep into the question, we must keep in our mind, war is a chaotic and very dynamic situation, so the needs and the requests change all the time. But right now, as far as we hear from the IDF, and we have like a hourly discussion with the IDF, if there is any update at the least, if they need anything else, the IDF asked us to support three main efforts. One is medical support, from ambulances to medical equipment. We have to remember that the IDF had to support the civilians' hospital during the first few days because of the amount of casualties, and he been forced to open his emergency storages. So right now we're helping the IDF to reorganize the storages and all the emergency medical equipment, so it will be ready for the next phase of the war. That's one thing. The other thing is to support the wounded soldier and the families and the bereaved families that needs any support that we can offer them, because most of the units that support bereaved family on a regular basis right now are at the north part of the country or along the border of Gaza Strip, ready for the next phase of this war. And we are replacing them with visits of the FIDF volunteers. We're going to visit all the bereaved families of the IDF and all the wounded soldiers. So that's another effort of the FIDF. And the last effort is to respond to immediate requests of the IDF, like helping with dealing with families that wait for an answer at the entrance of the hospital. So they want, just stand in groups and packs outside the hospital under the sky but having some kind of shelter and some kind of support, and we're helping those kind of pop-up effort all the time. We supported reservists that been in the field or went to training areas, and every few hours we get another answer. The office here in Israel try to respond as soon as we can, as fast as we can, to every request of the IDF, and the message that we send as the friends of the IDF to the IDF leadership all the time: we're here for you. Don't bother yourself with if to call us or not. Just share whatever you need, and we'll be there for you. That's the message, and so far we're standing 100% behind this declaration.
Amazing. So when we look forward, like the amount of support that the IDF is going to need, we're sort of responding now in real time, but this is really like a long. We see this as being a long operation, a long war. Can you speak to how we're managing all of these different requests and how large the demand is, that people at home should understand how dire the situation is and why they need to enlist everyone they know in this effort?
Yeah, so you're right. We're speaking about marathon, about a long range war. It's probably going to take at least a few weeks. And we have to be ready for a long journey and to support those requests and to support the effort of the IDF for this long time. We have to build kind of stable structure. So we already changed the way we reach the IDF. The IDF today, since this morning in Israel, they launch or establish new point of contacts for us under ACA, which is the national center. It's not only for the IDF, it's a national center that synchronizes all the donation and all the support, the emergency support to the soldier and to other needs of families that have been evacuated from their houses and so far and so on. And the same officer that used to work for us all over the years, the branch that deal with donation, she is the one, the colonel that works for us. She is the one that actually standing and managing this center. So for us, it's very convenient. We have someone that we know that we can speak to, we can trust, and we trust each other to answer and respond quickly. It comes to us, and we trust her to deliver to us the right request and filterize the things that are not necessarily or not fit to our organization. So since this morning, things works a little bit more synchronized in the IDF, but still, being said that, I have to remind again, it's a war. It's a chaotic situation. Things gonna change. There are gonna be a pump up of new requests, and we are not the bureaucracy. We are the friends. We are the one that try to do our best to support the soldier, the young men and women that defend the country, and give them all the oxygen and everything they need to fulfill their mission and win this war.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that frontline update. Everyone, giving to FIDF, just to underscore, is the fastest way to directly help Israel's soldiers. 100% of the funds donated to our emergency campaign are going to soldiers. FIDF is taking no overhead. Like Nadav just said, we're in hourly contact with the IDF, supporting their greatest needs, their most pressing needs in this dire time. We have already transferred enormous resources over there, even in this short amount of time. And what can you do? We Americans want to know, what can we do? You can partner with us in doing everything we can for our soldiers who are facing the fight of their lives, the fight of our lives. We must succeed. There is no other option. We have no other place. We must succeed today and always. They are on the front lines of the war. You can be on the front lines of your communities. You can be online. You can engage people. You can tell them how they can help. You can get them involved in this effort. Tell the stories of our soldiers. Tell the stories of the silenced. Get them involved. You can join this fight against Hamas. If you're on this call, you're in the right place. This is how you get to the soldiers the most directly, and know that all of your efforts are actually reaching the soldiers in the ways that are most critical and the most important. Before we sign off today, I just want to reiterate, and Major General Padan touched on it, that Hamas has called for tomorrow to be a global day of jihad that extends here to the United States. So please be safe, be alert, be prepared, and continue working. No one here is sitting and wringing their hands. We are all in the fight against Hamas. So thank you for joining us today. And please continue to stay in touch with us as we continue to bring you updates from the front lines, from the people who are in the heart of this effort. We appreciate you all. And Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai forever. Thank you.